Joining us right now to focus on this portion of things is Albert Bourla. He is the CEO of Pfizer. He's also the incoming chairman of the Pharma Industry Group. So he's somebody who's speaking with all of his colleagues about the things that they're concerned about, too. And, Albert, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Healthcare is front and center, and this is an arena where we're not entirely sure what President Trump, President Trump, thinks about some of these things. He has broken with some of the traditional Republican ways of looking at things. He's got people like Bernie Sanders, Senator Sanders, who is willing to work with him on some of the issues that he has brought up to this point. But what do you think we can expect from this second Trump administration?
I think radical change. But with change, always it comes risks and opportunities. I believe that the opportunities clearly outweigh the risks. I see way more opportunity to make things much better than not. But the point is not to speculate if risks or opportunities will prevail. It is what you do to make sure that you influence things to the direction that it is pro-innovation, pro-patients. And that's what we do.
So what are the opportunities? What are the biggest opportunities here?
I think, in general, a better business climate and a better business atmosphere will create an environment that all businesses will thrive, including us. The current administration has a very deep, the incoming President Trump's administration has a deep belief that strong business, strong private sector, strong entrepreneurship makes America great. There are many members of the White House now in the Biden administration and in the cabinet that also believe the same. And those are the people that we work hand in hand over the last 4 years. And I'm very proud of the things that we were able to accomplish together. But the truth is that the influence is not with them. The influence, it is with the extreme left. And right now they have the ideological dominance and they hate business. Not they don't believe we need to support business. They hate it. And that's a very big change.
What has it meant for your business?
IRA. I mean, it was a terrible situation.
The Inflation Reduction Act, which allows the government to negotiate with the drug companies. And it puts them, well, I wouldn't say negotiate, puts them on the list for price setting in some situations.
Yeah, they have a list, price setting, that it is without any controls. They have the power to do whatever they want. And it is not only that. They have the so-called penalty for the pill penalty, where the large molecules are getting protection of 13 years and the small molecules, the pills, are getting only for 9. This is driving behaviors. I don't know how they thought about it. People, companies, will not invest in small molecules, even if it is the right way to fight a disease, because they know that it is only 9 years compared to 13 if it is large molecules. Science should pick the winners, not the policies.
So what happens with the IRA? You've spoken with incoming President Trump. Is he going to stand by those parts of the IRA, or will that be stripped away?
I can't speak about his intentions. He's the only one that he can do that. What I know it is that I explained the issues to him, and he understood them.
He understood them. He's talked a lot about wanting to bring down drug prices, and I think part of who he's targeted with this have been the pharmacy benefits managers. He said that specifically in some of his speeches. What do you think when it comes to the pharmacy benefits managers?
I think he's right. I think we need to find a clear way to change the way that the system works right now with the PBMs and what the president calls the middlemen, and they are. Right now, you need to understand that the difference between the list prices that you pay to the pharmacy when you go to buy your medicines and the net prices that we charge to the PBMs, it is 50% difference. When I say 50, it's half. So you pay double right now than what they pay us when you go to collect your drug medicines. That is what makes completely unaffordable medicines for the patient.